Hello, welcome to another one of our Genoa Kingston beginning band videos. This one is the assembly and first notes of the baritone. As you can see, I have a baritone right here along with the mouthpiece. We're going to talk about getting the instrument ready to play and playing our first couple of notes. First off, the baritone is quite a bit bigger than most of the other instruments, and just like the trumpet, it has valves. It does have fairly big valves. We're going to just oil one valve today. In order to do that, I'm going to unscrew the valve, take the valve out. You'll notice that there's a spring came off of that. This spring belongs inside the valve casing, and if you turn it upside down while you're working on it, it will fall out. Please be careful, you do need that spring. Okay? Next, I will take some oil. I'd recommend for the students that they probably set their horn down when they do this. I'm just putting a little oil on the valve. It hasn't been oiled for a while. I put a little too much on. Now, once I put the valve back in, now, as you saw, I took that out because I know how to put it back in. I would recommend to your students, if they just take the valve out about that far, put a little oil on it, put it right back down. That will keep them from getting the valve put in the wrong way, or for damaging the valve when they get it out if they drop it. We just work it in a little bit, and now we have, hopefully when you're done, 3 working valves. Okay? Now, I'm going to set the baritone down for a second, and we're going to get out the mouthpiece. Again, like a trumpet mouthpiece, only it's quite a bit bigger. The student will buzz the lips, at which point they'll put the mouthpiece over the buzz. If you notice, my corners are going to be pretty firm, my cheeks are going to stay in, and the air is going to go through the mouthpiece. The balance should be just a little over half on the top lip, the remaining mouthpiece on the bottom lip. And they should get that kind of a buzz. They should be able to make a long buzz, several short buzzes and quarter notes. Notice when I start each of the notes, I start it with a ta sound, as opposed to a foo sound like this. I want to avoid that. I want to try to get the sound to start right away by saying ta as I play it. The next step will be to place the mouthpiece in the baritone. I simply put it in, give it a gentle twist to keep it from falling out. I don't need to pound it in. I don't need to make that sound that can get the mouthpiece stuck. If a mouthpiece becomes stuck in the baritone, you need to bring the entire instrument to either the high school, the middle school, or the grade school at Genoa Elementary, and we have mouthpiece pullers that will take this out for you. Attempting to take it out yourself with vice grips or other apparatus will damage the instrument. To play the baritone, one needs to sit up nice and straight in their chair. Notice I'm on the front of my chair, my feet are flat on the floor, and I'm going to cradle the instrument in my arm right here. Now, this will vary according to the student. However, when I stand like this or sit like this is where I have the instrument. I want to bring the instrument up to me. A lot of students right now will try to get away with setting the instrument on their chair or setting the instrument on their knee. Now, that's not always going to be a good idea because then they've got to bend over to reach. Or they may be too tall already, like myself, or they may not be tall enough. So they need to get used to holding the instrument from an early age. As you can see, there's a hook where my thumb goes here. I then operate the keys or the valves with my first, second, and third fingers. I like to hold the instrument right around here. Notice that it's a slight angle, but the mouthpiece is about the same angle that I used when I was buzzing. So I need to replicate that by holding the instrument up. I then take a nice deep breath, and I get a note. Now your student might get this note, or they might get this note, or they might get this note. All three are a good sign as long as it's got a nice clean tone to it. We're going to try to pull them down to the F and the B flat. This is where they'll be working for most of the early part of their lessons. They should be able to do both. If they can't do both right now, with practice they will. Occasionally, the student will have to empty the water key. I'll drop a little bit of science on you. When you breathe through this instrument, which is what you're doing when you're buzzing your lips, your air goes through all the tubing, which is colder than the outside air. And what that will do is that will condense the water vapor that's in your breath, and it usually forms right around here. Then you have to occasionally empty it. Sometimes it'll get stuck in the third valve slide. Right now, I'd rather you didn't have your students take any of the tuning slides off, because we're going to talk about that in a later lesson. So if they're having problems with a watery or gurgly sound, have them try emptying the water key. Okay? And again, to review, we hold the instrument up to our mouths, take a nice deep breath, and buzz into the mouthpiece. These students should be practicing blowing just through the mouthpiece, trying to get different sounds. They should be able to get a variety of sounds. The tighter the buzz, the faster the air. The faster the air, the higher the note. They should be able to buzz a high sound, a lower sound, along with a siren sound, where they kind of go high and low on their own. They should spend about 5 to 10 minutes a day buzzing the mouthpiece and trying to get that sound on the instrument. That's what I would like them to have ready for their first lesson after the one they're going to have. That's how we assemble and get our first notes on the baritone.